remember this? Did it make you feel like this?
Made or missed his field goal, I was going to have the opportunity to either win the game, like what happened, or if he missed, to tie it or whatever. But started kind of making their drive down the field. I kind of started getting mentally prepared. I remember going over to the kicking net was what I would usually do, and kind of find some room to get some practice reps into the net. And then we got the ball and started driving down the field, and Farouk made an amazing catch right there at the end there. He was actually my roommate this past year, funny enough, and we went to high school together as well. But and so right there, they called timeout, and I knew it was more time.
Right. So, in a scenario like that,
for me, I always felt like it gave me more time to kind of be out on the field and lock in more and just kind of, just visualize, what's about to happen. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, they ice you, you guys reset, ball snap, down, kick. I am your biggest fan. It was dicey, okay? Let's just call it that. It was good. And it was good. But what went through your mind when you saw, because it obviously wasn't the perfect through the uprights, no question. What's going through your mind?
My first thought was that was the worst kick I've ever had in my entire life. But
that was my first thought too.
Yeah. But funny enough, it actually got tipped.
Right.
I didn't know until Monday when we were watching film, but when we were with the coaches, they kind of zoomed in, and 47 on Alabama jumped right through untouched, and when I kicked, he was 4 yards away from my face. And he got 2 fingers on it. We zoomed in. Even the ref, the back judge, he kind of did the whole tip deal. He kind of made that signal.
Who was 47?
I believe it was Byron Young.
I believe
I think he got drafted this past. Not our Byron Young,
right,
but the Alabama.
Byron. Yeah, I believe you're right. I've watched it a bunch of times. I feel like it's
So I think that was him. But you could tell he hands and knees after it went through because he knew he got a finger on it. But funny enough, with the whole field goal operation time, we want to keep it around 1.25 seconds. That's kind of what was our goal as a field goal unit. For whatever reason, on that kick, I started a little early. Some Alabama fans like to claim I false started, but I don't agree with them. The refs didn't agree.
We like to claim a lot about them too. We don't talk about that here.
Yeah, but started a little early for whatever reason, and we were rolling on that operation time, and ended up being 1.05 seconds, which 9 times out of 10, if we tried to replicate that speed, my holder probably wouldn't have the ball down in time. So, it was a game of inches, and luckily we got it through.
Who was your holder on that?
Paxton Brooks.
Paxton Brooks, that's right. So, it goes through. What's next? I remember my vantage point. What's your vantage point? The place that you go nuts.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, when you're jogging out there, if I was watching on TV, I would probably be pretty nervous. But when you're in the game,
that's a nice way to put it.
When you're in the game, it's a weird feeling. I don't know how to put it. You just kind of jog out there, and you kind of look at your teammates who you've done this exact kick with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times throughout the offseason, and realistically, it didn't really matter that it was to beat Alabama Thursday in October. I knew that in the back of my mind, but you're not thinking of the 100,000 people and the millions on TV. You just kind of look at your brothers and you're just let's just kind of execute, So, but then right after it goes through, it's pandemonium. You were there. You know how crazy it was. I just got swarmed.
I got chills right now. Head chills.
Yeah, it was nuts. I got swarmed by everybody on my team, and then all of a sudden I'm getting picked up and crowd surfed around people, and I get dropped on the ground, and the first person I see was, funny enough, it was Velas. And I was like, how did you get out here, man? He's like, we ran out, and he's like, where are we going? I was like, let's find my family. So we went right to where my family, he kind of like grabbed me and security'd me through everybody, took me to my family, and my whole family's crying, and I'm like, guys, we're happy, this is great. Like, no need to have tears, guys, come on.
I had tears too, Chase. So, for a little while earlier, you kind of got a little surprise if you guys haven't got to see it. This is the actual ball that we all loved, that terrified us and so forth. But can you said a thing or two back there that I thought was really interesting, how you got the ball back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so as you guys know, in Neyland, there are no nets behind the uprights. A lot of stadiums have nets, Neyland doesn't. So I was anticipating to never see that ball ever again. Funny enough, just thinking of never seeing the ball again, Brew McCoy, he actually lost his helmet. And there were pictures on Twitter later that night.
Some guy wearing
it around campus, yeah. But so I thought I'd never see that ball again. But then I went home, and on like that Sunday, I finally saw the TV copy and saw one, because it got tipped, barely squeaked over. One of our football managers caught it, threw it in the bag, and they were very nice, and they ended up putting it in my locker that Monday morning for me before practice. So
that's incredible.
That's how I ended up with the ball.
The odds of you getting that ball back are...
Oh, yeah.
No.
I couldn't believe it. And we even had pictures, like all the specialists, when we got the ball, we had all the HD pictures of the kick, and we were verifying it. We got like all the markings that matched up and stuff. So, yeah, it's verified the real ball. So if you guys didn't see it yet, I'll be around after you to take a picture of it.
Several of my buddies work on the grounds crew and so forth, and so leading up to that kick, they were in this frantic state running around, and they were like delegating who was going to get the wrap off the goalpost, and because people were going to tear that place down. Security, I was standing in the end zone, on the north end zone. Security had already just said, I'm done. Like, we're not going to try to stop anybody. Oh, it was incredible. So, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about something else that is ultra important to who you are, to your life. And would you mind just give us a little, I'm not going to ask you to give the full-blown life account testimony, but would you mind sharing with us a little bit about like how you came to know Jesus and put your trust and faith in Him as your Lord and Savior?
Yeah, I was very blessed to be raised of the Lord, and I came to Jesus at a very young age, and I've been with Him ever since. He's helped me through the ups and the downs, through uncertainties coming out of high school, kind of being an afterthought, walking on, and ended up earning a scholarship that first year, and then things seemed great, and tearing my ACL, and just all these ups and downs, even coming out here, like just moving across the country, just so many uncertainties, highs and lows, but just always being able to lean on my relationship with Jesus has kind of helped me through my college football career in particular.
And I would say that I knew that about you prior to all of this, is that you've always been pretty open and outspoken about your faith. Why is that important to you?
Yeah, I think it's important to me, just my personal experience, and seeing how God can really impact people and change their lives for the better. I've had some tough times, especially when I tore my ACL. I was ready to be done playing football. I didn't know if I was ever going to play football coming back after tearing my kicking knee, and kind of closed myself into like a kind of shell. Didn't really want to talk to anybody, and it was a dark time. That was a tough year for me, and being able to once again lean on my relationship with the Lord, and trust in Him and follow His plan, what He has for me, just kind of see it through was very beneficial and a blessing.
So you told us that your parents were incredible influences on you and your faith and your beliefs. Playing football as long as you had to have had a ton of other coaches, friends, mentors. Who else would you say stands out in your life in those regards as somebody who maybe not in a football sense, but maybe in a more spiritual sense? Have you had people in your life you feel like God's put in your path as you were growing up playing football?
Yeah, the first person that comes to mind for me, he actually just retired this past year, but it was my high school football coach, Bruce Rawlinson. he coached at my high school for 30-something years. He's kind of a legend over there. But he was a very faithful man, and he had one of his quotes up in our weight room. It was painted on the wall, and it said, "You provide the effort, God provides the outcome." And I just remember going in there every day, especially in high school, and just kind of being in the weight room and seeing that and just having that in the back of my mind, and kind of carried that with me since then, and was really thankful to play for Coach Rollo. He's very impactful for me, and especially just that quote kind of has always helped me just keep pushing and just put in the effort, and God's got a plan.
That's awesome. Kind of piggybacking off that, what are some practical ways that you've found or had the opportunity to kind of live out your faith in college football? You're the best kicker in my life. Playing on the West Coast, playing in the SEC. I mean, what are some ways that you feel like you've had an opportunity to live out your faith and impact things for the Lord?
Yeah, I would just say in my day-to-day life, playing college football, obviously we're in the facility every single day, and it's kind of a grind sometimes. So one thing I would always try to do is just try to love everybody around me, all my teammates. You never know what guys are going through. There's a lot of guys who are dealing with serious injuries. There's a lot of guys who, aren't happy with their position and coaching and things like that. And, guys could be going through some tough times. And, my freshman year, kind of before I got hurt, I never really thought about it that way. I was just having fun playing football. And then after I got hurt, it kind of opened up a whole another angle to see how tough it is for some guys. And after living through it myself, I would just say just the way I've been trying to live out my faith when I was playing was just loving everybody around me and always being open to conversation for whatever that may be, whether it's about faith or football or just life in general, just trying to be there for my teammates.
Right. That's awesome. Last question I've got for you tonight is, being a kicker is a pretty high pressure job. Being on, TV every Saturday, playing for, high profile programs, starting at your high school through USC, through Tennessee. How has your faith enabled you to handle tough moments, setbacks, disappointments? I mean, obviously you're a kicker who had an ACL injury. Like, how has your faith been what you've relied on and helped you make it through these tougher moments and just things that have been hard?
Yeah, really just what I always kept in the back of my mind in terms of my faith and my relationship with Jesus was just, He's got a plan for everybody. And even when it doesn't seem like the right plan, it is. And just trusting in that, following that. I mean, I talked about my ACL going through ups and downs, and even coming all the way out here, I honestly never anticipated to leave Southern California, and decided a transfer was the best. And my 2 years here were the best 2 years of my entire life, and was really thankful for that. And even when I first got out here, nobody really knows this, but I was hospitalized for 4 days. My first week, I got it's called rhabdo, if any of you guys know what that is, but it's like when you work out too hard. I ended up having to get hospitalized. I was on an IV for 4 days. I remember calling back home, and it was my first week out here, and I was ready to be done. It was just all my knees were already all jacked up, and it was just. All of a sudden I'm hospitalized now across the country, away from my whole family, and just calling back home, and I wanted to be done. And thankful to have my parents who help guide me in the right way and just keep reminding me that just there's a reason you're out in Tennessee, and God's got a plan. He didn't send you there for no reason. So just see it through, and it'll work out. So I would just say for me, in terms of my faith, just following and trusting in God's plan.
Awesome. Well, selfishly, I'm glad that you stuck with God's plan for your life. But hey, I just once again want to thank you for being here. This is it's an incredible event. A bunch of people here love the Lord. A bunch of people here who love all football. So I'm gonna jump back down there, check out the score, and give it back to LD over here. But hey, how about a round of applause?
So while he's walking up here, two guys, I mean, these guys are talented. I mean, absolutely talented. So I wanted two people to paint something. I kind of handpicked them because I knew he was talented, but they volunteered it and loved it. They went to Daylight Gallery one Saturday afternoon and painted these pictures, and we're going to auction them off. This is a picture by Jimmy Dunn.
All right, here we go, folks. You tell me who can $250 where? If it's $250 on two, $250 bill on two. Wait a minute, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, I'm done. It was the preacher. Everybody raise your paddle up. We'll make sure everybody's got one. All right, here we go. You tell me. Let's put everybody in $100 bill where? If it won, if it's $100, you get one. If it's $100 bill, you get one. $100, $25, $125, $100 bill, $25, $25, $125, $125 where? If it's $100 bill, $25, $25, $110, $10, $10, but $110. If it's $110, 3 not 4, I'm 3 not 4, but you get 4, 3, 4, not 5. If it's over 500, if it's over 5, 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 if it's over 4 and a half, if it's over 4 and a half, 4 and a half, now 5, if it's 4 and a half, now 5, now 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half, it's his money, he's gone, 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half, 5 and a half, he's sitting there bid on it, 5 and a half, if it's 5 and a half word, if it's 500, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, if it's 525, if it's 525, 525, 550, 525, 50, 525, 50, 50, 50, 550, 75, if it's 550, now 75, 550, 575, 75, 575, 600.
This has an
Authentic.
card in there that says it is signed by Henry Hooker.
Yeah, he wore it and then he washed it. Probably got some sweat on it. 575, 600. Up at 575, 600. Up at 600, not 25. Up at 600. I already lost where I was at. 600, now 50. Now 625. How about 600?
Thank you.